is the video I have been waiting to make for a long time, and this is a part that I've been anticipating probably the longest for the car because it makes one of the biggest difference, and that is the front pipe or the downpipe for the VB WRX. This is from Perrin. This is actually the developmental piece that they use for doing all the different testing, for dyno testing, for power gains. And I am so excited to have this in person. Thank you so much to the team over at Perrin Performance for sending this out to me to test. You can tell that it's been used, it's been installed, and this is kind of your prototype piece that the main development piece was made off of, and this is the exact same as how it would look when you guys ordered. Of course, it would be brand new. This one was, gently tested. You can see it's very nice. It has a high flow cat in the rear section, which I'll put a light in there and show you guys the camera, but look how thick these flanges are. Very nice. Just like an OEM factory style thickness flange, so it'll get a nice good bolt. Bigger piping as well. It's going to offer a lot more flow. And I'll put some dyno numbers of what Perrin showed. This, I think it was around like 10 to 15 wheel horsepower, pretty much in every RPM range of the power band. Doesn't require any additional tuning or anything like that. It's just a direct bolt-on to factory. So this is the parts and hardware and everything that comes in the box. Comes with some gaskets. Comes with your bolts for your exhaust, some nuts, lock washers, all that type of stuff. They threw some extra keychains in here too, which is pretty cool. Perrin from underneath cooler keychain, and a connecting rod, beer bottle opener or soda bottle opener. Some other little accessories, and then these are the clamps to connect the pieces together. Just slide on right here. If you guys didn't see the last video that I did the drive shaft lockdown with the carrier bearing bushing solid, kind of lockdown. I was so impressed with the way that those made the car feel. And I talked to Jeff more about it, and he sent me some other stuff to test out as well. So we've got the subframe lockdown. So I'll do a video on that. Probably not today, I'll do that later on. I'll give you guys some installs on that. And this is the transmission Crossmember, so it's polyurethane bushings. I'll do some videos on that, more to come on that. Let me know if you guys want to see those videos and I can make them. If not, maybe I'll just install the parts. I'm excited to hear the difference of this. I think when you start up the exhaust, it's going to be noticeably louder. And here's a shot at the inside of that high flow cat. So you guys can see it's designed to definitely flow more, and I'll get the stock cat when I get it off. I'll get a shot of that inside there for you too. This full 3-inch piping over the factory exhaust is going to make such a huge difference to open up the exhaust flow and the exhaust tone while making extra horsepower, sounding better, and just everything overall is going to be so much more awesome, more better, more good, more faster. And then looking at the clamp coupler, so you can see how they're designed, how you get this little piece in here as you tighten down. Very nice design. It's not going to leak, and it's going to secure everything, allowing you to kind of adjust left and right, kind of slide to get it for length and fitment, everything to fit perfectly. And what's cool about this that Jeff and Jordan mentioned is look at the size of the box. That's pretty cool. You can save a little bit of money on shipping instead of having a, how massive a normal exhaust box is. So that's kind of cool. Jeff does a very good job with the instructions, kind of give me some tips on the install so I know kind of what's up. Now let's get underneath the car and let's get to work. Okay, so we're going to take this little brace piece off of here. Okay. Now we got easy access to all that stuff. So next we're going to remove the 14 mil exhaust nuts that are on the front of the front pipe that go to the J-pipe section. And we're going to be retaining the stock catalytic converter. I was talking to Jeff, and he does have something that's in development, but they're not sure if they're going to release it to the market because the whole issue of you don't want a check engine light for emissions and stuff like that, and for being able to safely tune your car. So we're going to be replacing it from the front cat back, and then that replaces the restrictive piping, which you guys can see. This came off super easy. That PB Blaster makes a huge difference. Help you from stripping stuff out, letting it soak. then you've got your turbo studs on the front. You're just gonna pull straight back. You don't want to damage those. And there we go. Off just like that. And to get this pipe off literally took me like 5 minutes. But yeah guys, look at the scrapes on that Tome. It's just ridiculous. It's just a matter of time before I chew through it. It's gonna have a hole in the exhaust. I've been looking at either the Perrin single exit exhaust that they just came out with, or maybe going with their dual exhaust. That way everything's just all Perrin and would be clean. And then if I do the dual, which I like, I kind of like the more uniform rear bumper where you don't have just that open hole where you're missing the exhaust. I think it looks kind of goofy. OEM gasket, if it's like in real bad shape, real high mileage and rusting real bad, it's recommend to replace it. You can see you got your O2 sensor behind the cat there. I'm going to reuse this because it looks good to me. So we'll leave that on there. And let's go compare the stock front pipe. All Perrin parts are on sale right now, 20% off through the end of May. And then on top of that, for you guys that watch my channel, use my discount code JDM right hand drive 10. You can save an additional 10% off at checkout. Well, we got them both on the table. Let's take a quick peek at them. So you guys can see I kind of went ahead and oriented the Perrin front pipe to match the factory pipe. And you can see the flange down here at the back behind the cap where it connects. It's much nicer than the factory flange, which is just like that stamped metal. This is like a real flange, and when you look at the front of it, remember how I was saying like the thickness is like OEM? Thickness is actually better than OEM, so that should help get a good amount of pressure on there, get a good seal on that gasket, which I like. This is a 3-inch, and then the factory, I think it's 2 1/4, yeah, so 2 1/4 inches. So that extra airflow is going to make a significant difference. I hope you guys are enjoying today's video. I do my best to show the most up-close quality and detail I can for you guys, as well as to try to save you some time with some tips. If you guys like today's content, hit the thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and let's get back into it. I'm going to kind of have it in a position so you can tighten it down. And I can see where the lines were before, so I'm just going to tighten it exactly where they had it tightened for testing at Perrin Performance. And I'm really excited personally to have this piece because it's a piece that Jeff and all the guys on the team have, you know, personally touched and been involved in during the development. And to have it on my car, it's really just an honor. So thank you very much guys for sending this to me to test. And the installation's been very simple so far. And I don't know about you guys, if you remember like the old VB, or not the VB, but the like the O2 WRX. I had an O2 WRX, and with the EJ20, you had your downpipe in that, but you also had your uppipe. So I think it's going to be a very similar experience to what I remember when I installed my Perrin downpipe on my O2 WRX, and it just definitely made the car noticeably quicker. And I remember when I installed the uppipe later on, it even opened up the extra potential. So I think that'll be kind of the same difference if we upgrade that front cat at some point down the road. But I've been waiting for this piece and I've been super excited for it. You can just tell this stuff is very nice quality, like the piping. It's a thicker piping. It's not really thin, so it's not going to have like that tinny, cheap sound to it. I'm going to reuse my multi-layer stainless steel gasket. Get it in. Won't be the first time, right, honey? I'll put a link in the description for the tools and stuff that I use and that I recommend. So if you guys want to tackle the project yourself and not pay somebody, you'll be able to do that. Bolt is 25 foot-pounds as well. You want to kind of swap back and forth. You want to tighten these down evenly. Let's grab our brace piece. A little kid on Christmas morning right now. I'm so excited. Fitment is spot on, especially around all this bracing. You can see how it's all up in here. Plenty of room around all of it. It fits perfectly. So good job on the design. And after, you know, using Perrin stuff since back in 2002, when I first started modding Subarus, this is everything what I would expect. And guys, let's bring you in for a close look. See how guys look coming back from here, kind of all the fitment of everything. Plenty of room here. Plenty of room here, all the way around. Nice room around this. It's like perfectly even everywhere. If you guys haven't seen the Perrin exhaust manifold install video I did, I'm running their exhaust manifold as well. But look at that, guys. So we are all tightened up, guys. Let's do our first startup. Speaking of the VB WRX, it's really cool. I actually found the original brochure in this box from when I moved out of my parents' house when I was 20 years old. It's been sitting in there ever since. And I got this brand new from the dealership back in March of 2001 when I bought my first WRX. So how cool is that to have this? Pretty cool. Installation, guys, is actually very simple. With filming this video and installing and everything, it took me about an hour and a half. I probably could have done it in under an hour if I wasn't filming. So they say 2 hours on the website. I'd say that's pretty accurate. If you want to take your time with it, you could easily spend 2 hours, make sure it all fits right, but super simple. Let's start it up. Sounds so good. Alright guys, let's give her some revs. Before I lower it back down, I'm just checking underneath for exhaust leaks. I don't hear anything, don't smell anything, so this is good to go. I can put this back together. Definitely feel that heat coming off of there. This is at normal idle after warmed up. Stock exhaust at idle. Wow guys, that definitely opens up the exhaust. You can tell it's a more pronounced exhaust note for sure. I was hoping for some of those like those turbo exhaust wheel. You usually can hear it spinning on like the turbine, but you'd have to get rid of both cats to hear that. But this definitely takes it to the next level sound wise. And yeah, let's go test the performance. So something that's interesting with the stock exhaust, I was expecting to actually see a catalytic converter in here. I'm trying to get my autofocus. Initially I was thinking this was the that's actually the Resonator. After looking at it, this is the catalytic converter, and I don't think I can get an angle at it. I'm gonna try. So yeah, I'll throw that picture up of what I was able to get. It's really hard to shoot it in there and get the focus and everything because it's so far into the piping, but you could definitely see it's a far more restrictive honeycomb design in that cat. Putting my undershield back on and realizing that I still have a little bit of an oil leak down here. I thought I fixed it. I'll have to dig into it more and figure out where the heck it's coming from. It's getting on the heat shield here. Maybe it's leaking from the oil pan itself. You guys leave me some comments down below and let me know if you've experienced any oil leaks from your VB WRX from the oil pan itself. This is what your car should look like with all of your shielding and, you know, under tray on. You don't have to remove any of that stuff in order to get the front pipe off. You can reach it with this stuff on there. So I wanted to just kind of show you guys that so you kind of see a little bit more how yours is going to look when you're doing the install. So we're going to pull out here and we're going to do our first pull to test the J pipe. I can hear immediate different sound and just a little bit more aggressive tone in the exhaust. It's not overly loud, but it's definitely a little bit throatier. Here we go. Do a second, third gear pull. The turbo response is definitely a little bit faster pickup down below. Here's second again. Third. Definitely pulls a little bit harder. So just cruising it like normal speed, normal throttle, not pushing it, I can notice that the exhaust is just a little bit louder than before. If you guys want to listen to it. Let's head home, it's time to eat. This seems like the good way to wrap up today's video with some fresh pizza and a beer. I'm gonna probably do some work around the house, do some painting. Cheers. So I hope this video helped you guys if you're considering getting the Perrin front pipe. What I recommended, absolutely. You can feel immediately as soon as the boost starts to kick in, the car is definitely more responsive and it pulls harder all the way throughout the rev range, all the way up to red line. Definitely a part I would recommend. And if you're just new to modding your WRX, in my opinion, as far as like parts I would start with, if you want to get the best performance for your dollar, I'd get the Perrin intake with turbo inlet, get the front pipe, and then do the access port. I think those combination of parts are going to give you the biggest horsepower gains for the money, and that's where I'd start. So yeah, this car is definitely a lot faster. It's more fun to drive, and it kind of gives me the sense of feeling when I used to drive my GTR. That thing was 450 wheel, 450 torque, and it would pull really hard and put you back in the seat. Now that this part's on there, it gives me kind of the same overall feeling. Not quite as fast, but it's a little bit closer. And if any of you GTR guys are watching this video, my engine is due to be finished by Integ Racing anytime. Should be done in like the next week or two. So I should physically have it sitting on the stand in my garage sometime in like the next 2 to 3 weeks. Then I can start putting it back together finally. And what's cool about this front pipe, guys, is it is high flow. There's no tune required. There's no check engine light guaranteed, which I can show you that my car has no check engine light. And with those horsepower gains that they did the testing on at Perrin, they did it with a stock WRX with just a catback exhaust with the stock tune, and it made these power gains, which are pretty impressive. So definitely a good part for the money, $1 for horsepower. So as far as personally kind of what I've been up to, I've been doing a lot of work on the inside of the house. We've been doing a lot of repainting. This is a color that I really like. It's called dry brown. And then I picked this color. My wife didn't like it, but I liked it. We did like 6 different paint samples in the house. That's called Roman Plaster, which is a really nice color. Bought this really nice piece of furniture, just over 6 feet tall. So what is it, almost 7.5, 8 feet tall? It's pretty crazy. But you can see the Roman Plaster color. I really like it. I'm not sure if you guys are into any of this stuff, but I figured I'd share it with you. That's why I haven't been making a lot of videos, is because I've been working on just personal stuff, taking care of my family, kind of getting my life in order. But we got this plain white. Everything was white when we moved in, so this is a really nice color. Got the accent wall here. This is still white. You can see where I'm painting it, so it's going to be that Roman Plaster color, which is a really nice color. I installed this little light chandelier thing that I got from Amazon for like 60 bucks. I think that looks really nice here. My wife picked it out, installed a ceiling fan, I installed curtains, curtain rods, painted this wall, mounted the TV on the wall, had her do my electrical wiring. My daughter's got her PlayStation plugged in here, but all my wiring is run behind the wall. I even modified my surround sound cabinet so my 80 receiver can fit through it, because not a lot of the cabinets are big anymore for like a surround sound system anymore. So that was a couple weekend projects, just, you know, little things like that. I also wanted to put in there, if you guys want to follow my secondary channel, I work on house projects and stuff around the home. If you guys want to follow that stuff, it's all kinds of stuff. I'll link that channel down below. If I'm not making car content, I'm usually working on content on that channel. If you guys would like to hang out, follow me on that too. And you guys leave me comments down below. Do you guys like me sharing any of this other personal stuff that's not car related? If you guys like house stuff, I can trickle it in here and there and kind of give you guys a little bit behind the scenes of what I'm up to, kind of more about myself. If you guys like that, hit the thumbs up and leave me a comment. Bear paint is literally the best paint I've ever used in the last 22 years of owning homes and painting all the walls and redoing the interior decoration all these years. One coat of coverage and you're done. Most other paints, even the more expensive, like $50 a gallon, stuff I've used in the past from other brands, I always have to back roll a second coat real lightly to make it blend in. But this stuff is it's just that good. Other than that, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. If you made it to the end, leave me a hashtag made it to the end. And I've got to get to work. I've got edging and stuff I got to do around all this stuff which I painted last week. I got to paint this and paint that entryway wall, and that will be it for today for me. So anyway, guys, take care. See you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Did you lower your car?
Yeah, it's just on iBock Pro Kit, so it's like 1 inch lowered front and rear. And then I've got the Super Pro rear adjustable lower control arms. That's pretty much it.
So on the front control arm where it bolts to the chassis, there's like this giant triangle plate thing. We have a billet version of that that also doubles as a jack point or a jack stand point. Because you know, if you ever jack up your car, you got to put the jack someplace, but then you also have to put the stand where the jack goes, so this solves that problem.
Oh, nice.
But at the same time, it also does some suspension geometry changes, which makes the car handle a lot better.